Welcome to Inversions 101, where we build confidence to feel comfortable upside down and learn fun drills to build strength to get inverted safely. So today we're going to work on inversions. So inversions can be anything from a handstand to a headstand to a forearm stand and even a shoulder stand. So it's basically when your heart is higher than your head. I remember when I was learning how to do any sort of inversion, it was really scary at the start. And when I just started to trust in the process and really go for it, then I started to see a lot of progress. So if you are a beginner, then I know exactly where you are. And if you're very experienced, then you'll have some fun just playing along and maybe learning some new techniques. Today we're going to work on our headstand and our forearm handstand. We'll go through some basic ways on how to get into the postures, how to strengthen your body as well to feel comfortable getting upside down, because I remember that was the first thing that I was really scared about. Inversions can be a really fun thing to do. They can also be a very dangerous thing if you don't know how to come out of them properly, or if you're using any sort of props or walls to support yourself. That's why I think it's really important to, instead of using any sort of props or walls to get up into your inversion, but instead strengthen the body first so that you feel comfortable inverting. So let's start with a headstand, which is probably the first inversion that any yogi has ever learned in a class. I remember when my first yoga teacher was inverting himself, doing a headstand in class. I looked at him with my jaw on the ground and thought, there is no way. There is absolutely no way in hell that I'm gonna do that one day. And little did I know, every day practicing, inverting myself, getting over my fear, well, that one day became a reality, and I felt comfortable coming into a headstand, that I started to want to do headstands everywhere. And even in scary spots, like hiking on cliffs and things like that. So really just stick with me and believe in yourself that one day you'll definitely get up. All right, so let's begin with headstand. So with headstand, let's just go through your body frame and where you should be placing everything. So in headstand, you first of all want to make sure that your elbows, that your forearms are your base. So when your base is really strong and sturdy, you have a better chance at getting up, staying up, and feeling really secure in your inversion. So it looks something like this. So if your base is here, you want your elbows about shoulder distance apart. Now, I'm not sinking in here and I'm not just wobbling about, but I'm being quite strong in my foundation. You also want to clasp your hands together. Now, as you get a little more advanced, everybody changes how they put their hands, where they put them as well. But I think at the beginning, it's really good to get these fundamentals down and really learn good habits. So you want to clasp your hands together and then place them on the mat. Now, you'll hear some people say, stack the pinkies, or don't stack the pinkies, or extend them. So see what works well with you. Me personally, I straighten my pinkies. And that's because at the beginning, when I was not staying up in my inversion for very long, I was falling over, I noticed that when I would tumble over, that my pinkies would kind of get crushed, and I didn't like that. So I just started to extend them out, and voila, that kind of saved me in those pinky crunching situations. All right, so you got your foundation, you got your forearms, shoulder distance with the elbows, clasp your hands, and for me, I want to extend my pinkies. Then what we want to do is rest the crown of your head on the mat. Now there should never be any pressure on the head. You should hardly feel the floor on your head, because most of the pressure is going to be on your forearms. Now, which is a bit bizarre because it's a headstand, but just come along with me and you'll see what I mean. So we're placing the top of the head, the crown of the head, comfortably on the mat. Now, if you notice that your arms are really far away, well, you want to almost frame the head. So you want to bring them in and kind of snuggle them in a bit closer. Now the next step is to bring the toes on the mat and basically begin to come into like a downward facing dog, but with a different arm and head setup. Then just from here, just feel comfortable kind of starting the inversion. You should kind of stay here for a few minutes and just inhale and exhale. See how that feels. Now, if that feels okay, come down onto your knees. Good. And we're going to do a few warm-ups just to get comfortable kind of being upside down and strengthening the body too. We're going to come into some dolphin postures. So if you don't know what that is, come along with me. So dolphin postures are essentially a downward facing dog, but with the forearms resting on the mat. So you might find that the heels lift up, and maybe normally in your downward facing dog, your heels are to the ground, but maybe the heels are lifted up, and that's okay. So what we want to do here is we're going to stay in a dolphin pose, and we're going to shift forward so you come behind the toes, and then we're going to shift back. We're going to do that a few times. I want you to engage your core too. So I'm shifting forward, and we're shifting back. A few times. One more time. Good. And then release the knees. That's always a little warm-up you can do at the beginning of your inversions. Okay, so let's get into the next step of your headstand. So forearms on the mat again, shoulder distance with the elbows, clasp the hands, extend those pinkies, place the crown of the head on the mat. Lift the knees so the toes come on the mat. What we're going to begin to do here is walk our feet a little bit closer towards our head. Now take your time and also just engage your core the whole time. Walking your feet a little bit closer and walking back. So this is building flexibility and strength. One more time. And then back. And drop the knees. So maybe you're someone who's been practicing using a wall for your headstands. Now that's not a bad idea, but sometimes what happens is we become really dependent on the wall, on that surface, and we forget about our body and the shape of it and even the capabilities of it. Our body is really strong if we train it enough, that we don't need any sort of wall or any sort of props to help us get an inversion. So we're not going to be using a wall in any of these warm-ups or inversions at all. This is all going to come from you and your body. Okay, we're going to take it to the next step with our headstand. So create your base, clasp your hands, top of your head, crown of your head on the mat, and lift the hips. Again, we're going to begin to walk the feet forward. But as soon as you feel your hips rising up and that they're stacked over top of the body, see if you can lift one leg. Good. And see if you can lift another leg. We're just going to alternate a few times. Now my forearms are pushing into the mat. The top of my head is just resting on the mat. All right, now from here we're going to see if we can lift one foot and maybe allow the next foot to follow. And if it ever becomes too much, you drop those feet down and come out of it exactly how you came into it. Good. Drop those knees and slowly come up. Good job. Next step is we're going to take it all the way up. And if that is too much for you at any point, you can always stay where we previously were and just work on those drills. Headstands can be really fun and can really test your balance and many other things too. So I think it's a really great thing to add into your practice. All right, if you're ready, let's move to the next step. Coming into full inversion, headstand, forearms on the mat. Clasp your hands, forearms on the mat, clasp your hands, extend your pinkies, bring the top of your head onto the mat. Toes on the mat and lift your hips. Then begin to walk the feet a little bit closer. And again, once you feel that your hips are stacking, begin to lift the legs. Now this is where we've been staying. So we're going to begin by keeping your core engaged the whole time. Extend those legs up. Good. Now if this is your first time inverting, please be careful. If at any point you want to come out of the mat, out of the posture, you just bring the legs down and come out. Now you can stay in your inversion for 8 seconds, 30 seconds, really, as long as you feel comfortable. But it's important to keep breathing in your headstand, to keep your focus, and to keep your balance. So don't just allow your body to kind of lose it and just start crumbling, but you want to be fully engaged, every inch of your body in inversion. You simultaneously want to be pushing away the mat on your forearms. Now you won't really see that, but you will definitely feel that. Now there are some different things you can do with your legs in a headstand, beginning with eagle leg. So crossing the leg over the other and tucking it behind. You do that obviously with the other side. And something else you can do is come into a diamond shape, so bring the soles of the feet together. Good, and something else you can do is releasing the legs halfway. So this is Shirshasana B, which is in the Ashtanga primary series. Now, this is quite challenging, but definitely something you can try. So what you begin to do is bring the legs back down, but we're going to stop halfway. And see if you can squeeze the legs back up. And then what we're going to do is release those legs back on the mat. Nice and slowly drop the knees. And instead of standing up right away, we're going to extend those hands out on the mat and come into child's pose. Release the forehead onto the mat. And just breathe here for 5, 10, up to 10 seconds. Now it's really important not to stand up right away after inversion. Just because for that fact you've been inverting, and it's really important that you just relax here. Good, then slowly come all the way up. Good job on those headstands. I know how scary and challenging they can be at the start, but little by little, if you keep practicing every day, in no time you'll be able to invert yourself comfortably and safely. So we're going to move on now to the next inversion, which is a forearm stand. So this one is a little bit more challenging than the previous one, but definitely a great posture to bring into your practice. So the fundamentals and the base are quite similar to a headstand, but there are definitely some differences. Biggest one, we're not resting the top of our head on the mat, and the only part touching the ground is our forearms. So we're putting a lot of pressure, and you're essentially balancing your whole body on those 2 points. So come along with me and we'll do some drills to try that out. So, like before, we're going to rest the forearms on the mat, about shoulder distance apart. Keep your hands planted on the mat and maybe even spread the fingers. Then from there, we're going to, again, lift our bottom half, so lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Now, again, you want to be engaging your arms fully to create that good foundation, that good base. And what we're going to begin to do here is walk the feet towards the elbows. We're just doing that back and forth a few times. So this is essentially our dolphin. Good, and come back with the legs extended. Now sometimes in this posture, maybe you've been taught to kick your legs up and find your balance. Now instead this time I'm going to teach you how to get up slowly and safely and using your core. So what we're going to do is begin to walk our feet close to our hands, towards our elbows, and see if we can do that same thing that we did in our headstand. So lifting one leg and lifting the other. Good. Extend the legs out. You know what's coming. So next we're going to see if we can lift up both legs and hug them basically into the core. So here in your shoulder, in your forearm stand, you're going to be pushing the mat away and just be gazing to a fixed point down on the ground. Breathing through the posture, and when you're ready, begin to release. Again, coming into your child's pose. Taking anywhere from 8 seconds to 10 seconds in your child's pose, releasing those arms, or if it feels comfortable, to the side. Well done. I hope you've had fun trying some inversions. Maybe for the first time, maybe you're advanced and you learned some new techniques. Whatever it is, inversions are a great way to get the blood flowing in the opposite direction. Now there's that saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, I kind of changed that around a little bit, and I think an inversion a day keeps the doctor away. I know I definitely want to be 80 and 90 years old still doing inversions. So if that's something, your aim, your goal, every day just try little bit by little bit, inverting yourself and getting comfortable being upside down. And in no time, you'll be practicing maybe even more advanced inversions like handstands. So that's all from me today. Thanks guys so much for watching. And if you like videos like this, definitely give this video a thumbs up, just so I know what kind of content you would like to watch and listen. And other than that, if you're not already subscribed, then definitely subscribe to my channel. I'm posting a lot of yoga flows. Recently, being in this quarantine, I would really like to share yoga with everyone. And other than that, have a great day and we'll see you soon.